What is up, everybody? We are live for Beyond the Game, episode number 13. My name is Eric Michael. I've sold over $5 million in sports cards. I own a multiple seven-figure coaching program with over 30 employees that teaches people how to make money buying and selling sports cards. The reason I'm so passionate about it is because it's changed my life for the better, and I enjoy teaching it, and it's a really fun, realistic way to make an extra few $1,000s a month on the side. So, got a few things to go over, a few questions, a few topics. By the way, if you guys in the Instagram Live have any questions, always feel free to comment or in the Facebook Live. All right, so let's do these Q&As first. Then I have some things to talk about. So Bob says, is there any potential for profit to submit a Beckett card graded in 9.5 to PSA hoping to get back a 10? On average, PSA 10s sell significantly higher than Beckett 9.5s. Thank you for your response. Bob, you're a smart guy because you could do that. That's actually a really good way to make money because Beckett has really taken a step back. So back in the day, like a Beckett 9.5 and a PSA 10 were like kind of neck and neck, like kind of like similar in terms of value. And then PSA during the pandemic really took off. Beckett took a step back, and because of that, a Beckett 9.5 to a PSA 10, there's a pretty big difference. Like, I wouldn't, like, keep in mind, even though Beckett makes a lot of errors, they're known to, like, cards that should maybe grade at 9, might grade at 9.5, ones that graded 9.5, it's like, it's all over the place. So keep in mind, you want to be looking at the actual card. Don't just look at the subgrades of the card, because that is going to, could lead you down a bad hole. So you want to be looking at the actual card itself and say, like, okay, is this card good to get graded? And a rule of thumb I follow for grading sports cards is you want to at least double your money at the end of the day. So if you're buying a Beckett 9.5, I would want to try so a PSA 10 is at least worth double. So after fees, after grading, it's worth at least double. So if you buy a card for $300 and it's a Beckett 9.5 and you're cracking it out and sending it to PSA, you want a PSA 10 to sell for at least probably $650, $700. So after all the fees, you're able to net $600. And someone just asked me, what about CSG to PSA? So that's actually even better. I've actually done that a bunch. So CSG, they grade cards kind of hard, but CSG isn't as valid of a company as PSA is or as Beckett. So there's a bigger gap between a CSG to a PSA. Now the problem is CSG, people don't send a lot of high quality cards to CSG, so it's difficult to find a card that's good to like cross over from CSG to PSA. So that's what I would say about that. The best place to buy these like SGC 9 or SGC 10s or CSG 9.5s or CSG 10s to try to cross over is auctions. What I've experienced a lot of the time is when you're trying to buy a card like a CSG 10 or whatever, a lot of the time when you're offering on eBay, people are very overpriced, like for some reason with these weird companies. But auctions, because people don't like them as much, you could make really good money by buying them at auction. I'll just give you guys an example, just so you could take an example from real life. So there's a company named HGA. HGA is a company that, like, I guess they use AI or robot or something to grade cards where it's not a human. So they look at some sort of robot or AI looks at the card, grades it, and gives it a grade. And it's a similar grading system to Beckett. So, like, has 4 subgrades. It gets a 9.5 is what you want to aim for. Let me just fix this real quick. And so I've only done this once, but I bought an HGA 9.5 Red Zone Justin Herbert 2020 rookie. This was like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when it was worth more. And I paid, what did I pay? I paid $5,000 for it. And PSA 10s were doing around 11 to 12. And I knew, because a robot grades the card for HGA, that the card was in good condition. Also, I looked at the card and it looked like it was in good condition. And I cracked it out of the case. I sent it back into PSA, got a 10, and actually sold it to one of my hometown friends' dads who loves Justin Herbert for $12,000. So there's a good example of cracking a card out of a case from like one of these weird companies. Just the problem you're gonna run into is a lot of people don't send in high quality cards to these companies. Like, actually, you have me curious now. Now I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look like I see what a Victor Wembanyama Prism Silver 9.5 sells for. I'm gonna look now because now I'm curious. Let's see. Wow. All right. So there's no like a Wembanyama Silver Prism 9.5. It's for some reason it sells for almost a PSA 10. Like it sells for like 8 to 900, and PSA 10s are like 1,000 to 1,100. So like that is not an option. I wonder if there's any CSG ones. Yeah, there's no CSG ones. Like people aren't gonna send in like a Wembanyama Silver Prism to CSG. Just no one's gonna do that. So yeah, but with a card like this, Beckett would not be a good option. However, what I've done a lot in the past, so I think could be my favorite thing to do in sports cards is buying a Beckett 9. Okay, like a 9. And a 9 with 9.5 corners, 9 edges or 9.5 edges, 9.5 surface and like 8.5 or 9 centering, so it comes out to being a Beckett 9, and sending it back in for grading. But I look at the card and I'm able to see, okay, like even though this card got 8.5 centering, it's probably better than 8.5 or 9 centering, and sending that back into PSA. That is like I don't know why I like to do it so much, maybe because there's like a gambling element to it, and I've had good luck with it. And a lot of these times you can get Beckett 9s at really good prices. Like sometimes you'll buy a card that's raw, and like if it's in good condition, well, everyone knows it's in good condition, and you're probably not going to get a good deal. But like a Beckett 9, people are like, I don't want that. Like a collector who's like collecting Wembanyama is like, I don't want that, because like they want to buy Beckett 9.5s or PSA 10s. So that's a really good way to make money. But it's a little bit more advanced, to be honest with you. So I probably wouldn't do it unless I've made at least like a few $1,000s with sports cards and have bought and sold some of them. Because other than that, like I wouldn't crack out. It's complicated. It's complicated. But yeah, that is my favorite thing to do in sports cards. Buy a Beckett 9, crack it, and send it to PSA. I don't get to do it that much, but when I get to do it, I like it. All right. This is a long question. John. So John says, hi, Eric. I have a Michael Jordan 92 Topps rookie retro card. Second, I have a 1980 Wayne Gretzky Nelson. It's a Milk Company card. Would the value be as good as the O-Pee-Chee 1979 rookie card that was sold for $3.75 million for Heritage Auctions? I also recently bought a miniature Jaromir Jagr card 1993. How much would that card be worth? It's the miniature sports card. I also have a Dominique Wilkins card. Oh, I need to know which card to determine what it's worth. Lastly, what's the best auction that I could sell these in? Thank you and hope to hear from you soon, John. All right. So I'm going to give you a simple answer to your question. So these cards, like a Michael Jordan 1992 Topps rookie card, like it's all dependent on condition. Like something like that could be $10, but a 10 is $500. So if it's in good condition, I would send it in for grading. If you could think it could at least grade a 9. And same thing with like, then to answer your question about the Wayne Gretzky, no, a Wayne Gretzky 1980, I don't even know what that card is, but it's not going to be worth close to a 1979 O-Pee-Chee. And that 1979 O-Pee-Chee, that was graded a PSA 10. So those cards are extremely difficult to grade a 10. Like, just to give you an example, let me look this up. So let's see, Wayne Gretzky, 1979 O-Pee-Chee. Let's see what a 9 does. Let's see what a PSA 9 does here. So, oh yeah, that's going to be expensive. Like a PSA 8, all right, so just to put it in perspective, like a PSA 8 Wayne Gretzky O-Pee-Chee, 1979, that's like Wayne Gretzky's best card, is like $4,000 one sold for. And like a 9 will probably be like $30,000, 20, 40 grand, something like that. And a 10 is going to be like 3.75 million because there's probably only like a few 10s, like maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them in the world. So the chances these cards from the 70s and 80s get a 10 are not high, John. But that's why it sold for so much money. And there is no best auction house to sell it at. Like, they're all relatively similar. If you're selling an expensive card, I'd probably go with like golden auctions if it's like above like 20, 30 grand. If it's not, my preferred way of selling, actually, one of my preferred ways of selling now is through sports cards. So at the Fanatics Fest, like I set up at a sports card show for the first time ever, which is funny because I've been to like 100 sports card shows and I've never set up at one. I never like bought a booth, set up, sat there, but any of these like cards you're talking about, these Dominique Wilkins and Jordans, especially if they grade high, you can just sit there and people will come by and they'll buy it from you. If you go to any of these decently big sports card shows like in Burbank, or which is this weekend, I think, or if you go to Chicago or Dallas, any of these big card shows, if you set up, you don't even have to set up. Even if you go there and walk around, dealers will buy that stuff from you. You got to be careful. They might offer you really cheap. So, like, make sure you know what it's worth. But hopefully that answers your question, John. Like, you could DM me a picture. And, because, like, I'll be able to get a better sense of what it's worth if you DM me a picture. All right. Let's see what else we got. Casey. This is a good one. I like these questions. At what point did you figure out that you could truly make this as a career? What is the most important thing that you learned throughout the entire process that you can share to help with others? All right. I got to take out my piece of gum for this. This is a loaded question, Casey. All right. So, Casey, at what point did I think I can make this a career? So, I got into sports cards in 2015 through a friend. I was making like $1,000 a month. And then that following year, so 2016 in October, I was at Rutgers University and I was pledging a fraternity. And you know how when you pledge a frat, right, they make you stay out late and do all sorts of stupid things. And I got back, it was one of those nights, and I got back like at 1 or 2 a.m. and I was either going to go and look at sports cards online, or I was going to go to class tomorrow morning, which is like some accounting class at 8 a.m. I decided to look at sports cards online, and for some reason, I don't know why I did this. Don't know why. I went on Craigslist. No idea why I did it. But anyways, I went on Craigslist, and for some reason, I clicked on Connecticut. No clue why. I was just bouncing around to different states on Craigslist. And I found a lot of old vintage cards. Long story short, to save you the time, I didn't know anything about vintage cards. I'm still not an expert on them. Called my friend. I was like, hey, the one who got me into sports cards. I was like, hey, look at these cards. What do you think they're worth? And he was like, whoa, you got something here. So he drove down from Pittsburgh. He went to the University of Pittsburgh. He drove down the next day. And long story short, we bought them all for about $11,000, got them all graded and flipped them for $40,000. The guy was retiring. It was an estate sale from a family with a grandpa who had a bunch of old cards. They didn't want anything to do with them. And we bought them all, and we made like $29,000, something like that. And at that point, I was like, whoa, like, even though like I knew that was lucky, like I never even thought it was possible that someone like myself could even make money like that. So like that opened my eyes to like, okay, like I am capable of like making a sufficient income, and it is possible to have like $10,000 in your bank account. Like, cause like that was a ton of money to me at the time. Like you got to remember, like I had like probably $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to my name, and like a few months later, I had like 25 grand or 30 grand, whatever it was. So that was a big shock to my system, and that's when I realized. That's when I really started to press forward with sports cards. And then so I got it up to like 4 grand, 3 grand, 5 grand a month in profit. Senior year of college, got into all this crap where I lost a lot of money, a bunch of e-commerce stuff, digital marketing stuff, right? All the stuff you see online. And so got into that. Didn't make any money, lost a lot of money. And then to recover from all the money I lost, I really started to press forward with sports cards and really going to conventions. And now I wasn't in school anymore, so I had the time. And I started to make upwards of over $10,000 a month. And then the pandemic happened and sports cards blew up, and I started to make like 20, 30, 40 grand a month. And that's when I kind of like started teaching people this stuff. So that's kind of like how it happened. But like the real like moment where I was like, whoa, like I could make money was like that estate sale that I found on Craigslist in Connecticut. So that was like the first like thing. And then like when the pandemic happened, that was like, whoa, like there's like real money in sports cards. And then obviously I started to help others, and then this whole coaching program formed. But yeah, so like that's kind of how I knew I could make a career out of it. It was like wasn't just like a one time thing. It was like this thing happened and that thing happened and this thing happened. And what is the most important thing you learned throughout the entire process that you can share to help with others? I like Casey. I like your questions. Ask more questions when I send out the podcast form. What's the most important thing? Okay. So I'm assuming by you asking that question, you're asking what is the most important thing when it comes to like business. Um, so the most important thing that I learned when it comes to business is right. You get into business to make money, right? You get into business for two reasons, right? To make money and to have time freedom, right? That's why most people get into business. They either want to make a lot of money, they want more freedom, right? Everyone in life wants to work less and make more. Now, if you want to make more money, you actually make more money by giving value to others, right? Sit back and think about this for a second. Like the biggest companies in the world, like Amazon. Why is Amazon so big? Well, they have everything on there. You can get it usually shipped to you in a day, sometimes same day, next day. And it provides a lot of value in other people's lives. So like an example from myself with like Major League Profits, like I help people pay me. I help them how to make money with sports cards. It turns out, and this is obvious to say it out loud, but the more money I'm able to make people, not only is it the right thing to do, right, but they tell their friends, they tell their family, right? If you joined a coaching program and like, let's be honest, a lot of you guys watching this, like, like, I don't know, like, is it a scam? Is it not? People are very on the fence when they buy my program, but the minute they start making a few grand a month, they tell their friends, they tell their family, which then these people come to me and they buy more of it, and I actually make more money by helping people, giving people value. So like, I like to tell people, excuse my language here, but this is a phrase I use when I talk to people about my program, is I like to make this unfuck-upable. Like, you have to try to screw this up. Like, especially in like the high-end program, we like literally tell you what cards to buy. We give you personalized one-on-one coaching. And I learned this because I've spent probably $250,000 on other coaching programs and seeing what was good in others and bad in others. So like one of the biggest things I learned is like actually giving people value and being a good person. Not only is it the right thing to do, but it makes you more money, which is like a double whammy, right? Being an asshole and being like scammy and not really caring about people's results, not only can people like see that, but you actually make less money in the long run. Like even though my payroll is a little bit higher than other companies in my space because I pay more coaches and I pay for more things to help students out, it comes back to me in the long run because of all the success. Like all you guys watching this may have seen my YouTube and wherever, and there's like a million success stories. There's like tons. There's like hundreds and hundreds of good reviews online, and the reason for that is because we invest a ton of money into fulfillment. Right? I'm not stupid. I know that if I'm able to make people money, I actually make more money myself in the long run, right? So it's like give and take. So like that's the biggest thing I learned. And like the way to relate that to sports cards is like in sports cards, don't be that person that's over comps, right? Like if you buy a card, as an example, I'll always give and I'll always talk about it till the day I die. If you buy a sports card for $200 and you get it graded, and now let's say it grades a 10 and it's worth $500, fantastic. Well, so many people want every last dollar, right? They want it to sell it for 550, 600, 525. They want to feel like they won, right? But sell it for 450, sell it for 475, sell it for 90% of comps or 90% of the value of what it sells for online because you'll sell it quicker. You'll get more money quicker to reinvest, which is actually going to make you more money in the long run, and people will actually like you, right? If you're that guy that's actually fair, guess what? People will actually like you, and they'll tell their friends about you. You'll get random text messages for people who want to do deals with you, and being a good person actually makes you more money in the long run. And take my word for it, because when I first got into sports cards, not that I was a bad person, but online I was you could tell, like I was only there to make money. Like I really didn't give a shit about anything else. Like you could tell, like I was just online to make money. The way I would deal with people is very short. I didn't give a shit about anyone. And because of that, people didn't like me. And there's still people that don't like me in the sports card hobby because of it. But by being, long story short, Casey, the biggest thing you'll learn in business, sports cards, or business in general is being a good person and providing value, right thing to do, and you actually make more money. Something Something to think about. All right. So this is another question. This person's name is Cass. Cass says, "Hope you're doing well, Eric. I'm interested in attending a live autograph signing for Keenan Allen from the Bears. It's $95 to get in with a $10 Beckett authentication charge on the site. Doesn't make sense to purchase. Let's say a $30 to $40 card, a 1 out of 25 or 101, have him sign in and get it validated by Beckett. Is there a profitable way to benefit from this opportunity, or is this just a pipe dream or an easy way to lose a lot of money? If my budget is, let's say, under $50 for a card, do you have one you would recommend getting?" So, Cass, to be honest with you, it's a pipe dream. But I could look this up for you. Let's see, Keenan Allen, rookie. What was he a rookie? 2013, right? Yeah, 2013. I'll look this up for you. So let's see if there's anyone, Cass, that's gotten a Keenan Allen rookie card autographed, like on site. And let's see if it's profitable. It's probably not, though. I could tell you like 95%. I can't find any. Yeah, Keenan Allen rookie cards, they're not going to sell for that much, to be honest with you. So, to be honest with you, it's a pipe dream. It's a good way to lose money. If you like Keenan Allen, go have fun. But like, I don't do that stuff because I don't really care to wait in line to get autographs. But yeah, there's no real profitable way to make money because like whoever's charging you to get his autograph, they're not gonna like think about it, right? Like if it was that easy to make money, everyone would do it, right? Where you could just sit online and you get an autograph and you could just flip it for more money. Like, not gonna happen. So, Cass, to answer your question, it's a pipe dream. Sorry to break it to you. All right. Leon says, "I'm very new. What's the best advice you can give to somebody like myself and how to get started?" Good question. So, Leon. So, the best way to get started with making money in sports cards depends on your budget, but I'm going to assume you have a really small budget and you're really skeptical. Okay? Fair to say, most people are. Let's say your budget's $500. So, what I would do is go to sports card shows, go to a show, and at a show, you'll see there's like a glass table with all the vendors' expensive cards, usually, and to the side, there's these dollar boxes where they sell these cards for $1. I would go in there, buy cards for $1, but like look on eBay at recent sales and say, okay, like, is this card selling for at least $10, $15? Buy cards for $1 that are selling for $10, $15. Go on eBay, flip them, make like $30, $40, $50. Not that it's going to change your life, but it proves to you that you could actually make money in sports cards. And then a step up from there is, so what I would do is grading. So like the way to lose money in sports cards is the average person comes into sports cards and they're like, "Oh, I just want to I think this player is going to be good. Let me go buy his cards." And usually you're wrong because most players don't perform up to expectations. It's just how sports cards works. So don't do that. You want to be buying cards and getting them graded. I have like a million videos out there, but basically what that means is you're buying a card, you send it to a grading company, they assess it on its condition, and if it's in good condition, it'll grade a 10, and if it grades a 10, you can make really good money. So I have like a million videos out there that show you exactly how to do this. Leon, just go on my YouTube, and there's a million videos. So I'll first go to card shows, flip cards on the dollar boxes, prove to yourself you can make money, and then start grading cards. So let's see. This is Ricky says, "By month to month, when's the best time to grade a sport? I've used Ludex, but it doesn't catch all the brands of cards. So what is the best site to get a price on the cards?" Okay, so the best way to get a value on the cards, the fastest and quickest way is eBay. But the problem with eBay is it won't show you if a card sold for or best offer, like if an offer was accepted. So if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer, you want to download an extension called Cardboard Market, and it'll show you what the offer actually did. But if you're not on the computer, you could use 130point.com, and that for the most part is pretty solid. And then on top of that, if you're buying something a little bit more expensive and you really want to make sure you don't miss any sales, because I can't tell you how many times I've used 130point and like I missed a sale because it didn't pop up on there for whatever reason, and I probably overpaid for the card. So the best way to not do that is use onlyalt.com. It's slower and clunky, but it'll show you, it pulls all the data from all different sites and will show you all the sales of cards. And same thing with Market Movers. Market Movers is also good as well, but you have to pay money for it. So those are the different ways to determine what a card is worth. And month by month, when's the best time to grade a sport? So Ricky, like the way to do sports cards, if you're grading a sports card, right? Think about this, right? If you're grading a card and you're going to send it in for grading, and let's say it takes 2 months to get back to you, you want to be buying something that has the best chance of appreciating, right? If you buy something with the best chance of appreciating, the card will be worth more to you when it gets back from the grading company. Therefore, what you should do is try to time the market. So, like, for example, right now while I'm speaking, it's August. I am not buying football because the way sports works is when a sport starts, most guys go down in value because they're excited, they're hyped, and they're excited, and the values are inflated. So I'm buying basketball right now. So basketball, get it graded, comes back in October. Not every guy's going to go up in value, but some will, some won't. But like, you're putting yourself in the best possible chance with the wind at your back for these cards to go up in value. So like, I'd say like, if you want me to just tell you like, so like July, August, September, basketball, October, November, December, January, baseball, February, March, April, May, June. June is like basketball and football, but that's usually how I go about it. But like, it depends on the market and the specific player. Like, I'm just generalizing it. Like right now, like it's August, but I'm looking to buy some of these baseball guys because I think they could have a decent chance of going up during the playoffs. And if they don't go up during the playoffs, I'll just wait till the preseason and make money on it then. So it depends on like it's card specific. A lot of questions. Okay, cool. Some other things I wanted to go over. So I would just like to sit here and say, I would like to pat myself on the back for a second. So, sorry, a lot of talking. So I would like to sit here and pat myself on the back because I would like to come out and say, no, I'm not always right, but I was right. If you go back a few months ago, you'll see me talking about buying Sam Howell. And the reason why I thought Sam Howell was a good buy, I actually think he's a decent quarterback. But besides from that point, Sam Howell got traded to the Seahawks. His price is plummeted because he got announced as the backup. And he's still young. He still has potential. And Geno Smith is like, I don't know how much the Seahawks really love him. And Sam Howell, I knew if he did anything in the preseason or started competing for the starting job, that his value would go up. Now, Sam Howell, let me just look this up. So Sam Howell, he's got into this, from what I read, he got into the Seahawks training camp and was not playing that well, according to like reports. But while I'm looking right now, so you could have bought a Sam Howell Contenders PSA 10 for like 140, 150, 160 when I was speaking about it a few months ago. And my theory was, okay, he's already selling for a backup, so his floor is like not much. Like he can get hurt, obviously, and it can go down, but like if he's a backup, who cares? All right, you sell it, you break even. But if he starts to do anything, you can make really good money. And the last sale I'm looking at right now sold for $270 of a Sam Howell PSA 10. And this is a Contenders autograph. So, like, I'm going to look at his other cards, too, just to kind of see because I'm curious. But, yeah, so you could have made, like, I have a bunch of students that did this. You could have made like really good money on Sam Howell, like probably like 40, 50, 60% on your money. It's pretty crazy. And like his Silver Prism, let's see what this sells for. This is crazy. Oh my God, this is sickening. I wish I bought more. This is disgusting. You could have bought his Silver Prism, not autographed, PSA 10, for around like 2 months ago, in the range of like $80, $90, something like that. And the last one just sold for $130, so pretty similar to the Contenders Auto PSA 10. Like, and why this happened is because he's playing good. He had a good game in the spring and preseason, and everyone gets excited because they think he has a chance of starting, which he probably does, and his value shot up. So I would just like to pat myself on the back and say I was right about that. I'm not always right, believe me. Also, something I was really correct about as well is Jordan Love. So I wish I bought more of him, but I didn't. But you could have got his. So there's a video on YouTube somewhere, January or February, where I went over the specific best card I would buy right now. And one of the cards I said in there was a Jordan Love Blue Ice Prism PSA 10. And back when I was speaking, you could have got it for like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. That card now sells for over $3,000. Pretty freaking wild, right? So yeah, the stuff I say actually works sometimes. Who knew? I tell you guys for free. That's a lot. Some updates on my life if you guys are actually curious and give a shit. It turns out we're gonna get an office for all of our employees. Start to get everyone in house. Because one, I think it'll be a lot of fun having everyone in office and our sales team and the people and the coaches. Coaches won't be in office, but like the people on our sales team are like young, similar to me. So it'll be a lot of fun, build culture. And yeah, and that's really it. Yeah, that answers all your guys' questions. But I have to run here. Hopefully you enjoy this stuff. Any questions, always feel free to shoot me a comment, DM. One last thing I'll say, I wrote an email about this during the week, is here's a little life hack. I'll leave it off with this. Here's a little life hack that's helped me out a lot, and I think it could help you guys out a lot. So always do the hardest things first. So what I mean by that is, like, for me, one of the hardest things I do during the day is lifting weights, right? Lifting weights is a pain in the ass. It's hard. It's difficult. And I always do that the first thing when I wake up. It doesn't matter. It's non-negotiable first thing. And you could take that concept and just apply it to life. Like, always do the hardest thing first. Like, if you have to, like, get some, like, report done and you have the month to do it, do that first and then settle down with the easy stuff, because you have the most amount of energy in the beginning and you want to dedicate that energy to the hardest stuff. And also it sets the tone for the rest of the month or the rest of the day. Like, because I lift weights every single day, it's the hardest thing in my opinion that I do, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day. Little life hack, who knows? That's what I do, but it helps me out a lot. Like, you get all this bullshit like drink this green, organic, purple, orange coffee and then meditate for 20 minutes. And that might work for some people, but like for me, it's just like wake up, do the work that's required, and do the hardest things first. And I think that's very helpful advice. Simple, but hard to do, right? It's always easier said than done. But hopefully you enjoyed this stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys who are here live, and I'll see you guys in the next one.